This is Urban Outlook.
And good morning and welcome to Urban Outlook. I'm April Eaton. Thank you so much for being with us today. You know, the holidays are times when families get together to celebrate the things that are good to them, some might say, as they wind down the year. But it's also a time when people think about ways to give back. Some may give back to individuals or individual families that may be in need, but others may want to give back to the entire community. There's so many opportunities out there for you to do what you want to do this holiday with your family. So we thought we'd talk to one organization in particular that has a long and rich history of giving back to communities and helping people, particularly when they're in desperate situations and disastrous situations for that. And that, of course, is the American Red Cross. We have both with us Scott Toncray, who is the communications volunteer there, and Regina Conway, who's the communications manager for Blood Services. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having us.
And as I said, you know, we often think about what can we do at the end of the year? What can we do to make sure that we get our family thinking about the true meaning of some of these holidays? And you know, obviously the giving is a huge portion of that. American Red Cross plays a huge role when it comes to this time of year, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to blood and platelet donation, patients in our local hospitals, they don't get a holiday from their battles, you know, and so many families will be in the hospital throughout the holidays, and so we ask you simply roll up a sleeve and donate really the gift of life, which can be a blood or platelet donation to families in need throughout the holidays. And of course, you know, there's so many needs when it comes to the disaster side of the American Red Cross as well.
Yeah, let's stick with the blood, and then of course I'm going to get to you, Scott, on the disaster side. But what do people need to know? How important is it that they give? How critical is it that they give blood and platelets?
It's life or death for someone in the hospital. My youngest brother Thomas had leukemia, and without blood or platelets he would not be here today. So it is life or death. That is how critical. So I can't think of anything more important. And I think you really get an understanding of how important it is when it's impacted your family or impacted a loved one. If you know someone who's battled cancer, who's been in a serious car accident, who's gone through surgeries, you probably know someone who has needed blood products. And so it is important to take 1 hour out of your day to give back, give the gift of life. And in minority groups, we find a high amount of O-negative blood products. And O-negative is the universal blood type. It can help anyone who comes into local hospitals. So if you haven't given yet, don't be afraid. It is a great process, and above all, it really saves a life. And when you donate between December 24th and January 3rd, we're giving away really cool long sleeve Red Cross t-shirts for people to enjoy too, as our thank you during the holidays. But you know, at a time when so many people are getting things and receiving gifts, it's just great to be able to give the gift of life to someone during the holidays, and it doesn't cost you a dime.
And I'm glad you touched on the process too, about an hour of your time, because that's what some people may think. Do I weigh enough? Do I not weigh enough? Am I healthy enough? Those kinds of questions come to mind when you think about donating your blood and blood products.
Right, and you have to be, in the state of Tennessee, 16 years old. You can give with your parents' consent, or 17 and up. You have to weigh at least 110 pounds and be in good health. So if you've been coughing, if you're just getting over the flu, wait a few days. We want you to be healthy because we want to give the best product to our patients in need. So wait a few minutes, go to redcrossblood.org, redcrossblood.org, and you can find all the eligibility requirements as well. But otherwise, if you're in pretty good health, you're probably eligible to donate. And we hear a lot of times, but the needle, we're afraid that the needle will hurt and things like that. And first of all, I say, you know, when you see someone go through chemotherapy or a car accident, the pain could be a lot worse. But, you know, if you pinch the back side of kind of the underneath your elbow for a moment, that's what we relate the pain to. And it's just a pinch for just a moment. But in that moment, you're really giving back. And we want the entire community to get involved in this and feel as though, you know, they play an important role, because they do. Every single person has the opportunity to really help out, and it's important.
Scott, you talk about giving back and ways you can do it. Obviously, there's that one road that gives that blood, that gift of life, but you give another different kind of gift of life, some may think. When people go through disasters, when people have home fires, when people lose it all, your side of the fence is there to help. Talk a little bit about the volunteer force and what you need when these things happen.
Yeah, that's right. This season we're kind of saying it's the Give Something That Means Something campaign. And so giving time is also another way that people can help us out. We trained 4,000 volunteers last year, just in the Nashville area in Tennessee, and that's training people in first aid and CPR, as well as to help people when there is a disaster. And then, of course, this season, another way to give is with a financial contribution. From Thanksgiving until New Year's Eve, Red Cross receives 35% of its annual revenue from giving. And so it's such a critical season for us because people are thinking about how they can help. They have many blessings, and they're thinking about the victims of like the tornado victims in Illinois, who are in transition this Christmas, who aren't sitting around a Christmas tree or celebrating their holiday, that they're just trying to relocate and find shelter and get back on with their lives. And so that's one ways that we can help. And we have an online catalog so that you can give for blankets or a hot meal. We're still providing hot meals in Illinois. And then as also a shelter as well as another way that the holiday gift catalog can help those affected by disaster.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk more about that disaster side of the fence, because there's so many things that people may not know about that they can contribute to, and how that money gets used in particular is key. We'll be right back after this. We'll take a quick break.